But then the information as it came was that there was a suspicion then, a real suspicion, that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was recruited by the Central Intelligence Agency, the American one. And he actively worked for them.
In your statement, I will read exactly what you say when you introduce this subject of recruitment. You say, I obtained information from one of my sources that King Misizulu and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi were recruited by and actively worked for and with the American Central Intelligence Agency, in brackets CIA. Relayed to us by you, this information is hearsay. And relayed to you by your source, it is hearsay. So it is hearsay upon hearsay or double hearsay. Do you agree?
I do not agree, Commissioners. King Misizulu and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi were recruited by the CIA. You start paying attention to everything they do.
May I, please, it's a simple question.
Okay.
I don't even understand why you would dispute what I'm suggesting to you.
Take the commission through to paragraph 21.
Yes, that was the time in 2023 up to 2024 that when South African government initiated an action against the government of Israel in the International Court of Justice. Now, that's when we got information that the area in Richards Bay, which is controlled by this Israeli interest, there was a worry from those interests that South Africa may hold that particular business, the trade.
What area in Richards Bay, Mr. Mogotsi?
There is a mine in Richards Bay. But then the information as it came was that there was a suspicion then, a real suspicion, that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was recruited by the Central Intelligence Agency, the American one. And he actively worked for them.
In your statement, I will read exactly what you say when you introduce this subject of recruitment. You say, I obtained information from one of my sources that King Misizulu and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi were recruited by and actively worked for and with the American Central Intelligence Agency, in brackets CIA. Relayed to us by you, this information is hearsay. And relayed to you by your source, it is hearsay. So it is hearsay upon hearsay or double hearsay. Do you agree?
I do not agree, Commissioners. In this world, the intelligence world, when there is a suspicion, you may presume, you can say yes, it's a hearsay, how a general person will think. But a contact agent, an underground operative, will have to investigate, even if you can.
No, please continue.
Okay. The hearsay part, it becomes something of a general knowledge. One must investigate because it's a suspicion. Now, if a source says to you, King Misizulu and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi were recruited by the CIA, you start paying attention to everything they do.
May I, please, it's a simple question.
Okay.
I don't even understand why you would dispute what I'm suggesting to you. In my language, which is isiXhosa, hearsay is undiva.
Okay.
I've asked my co-commissioners what it is in Setswana, and they tell me that it's mabaribari.
It's true.
You know that?
Yes, I know that.
So all I'm asking you
That's
is
correct.
whether you accept hore.
It is yes.
Mabaribari.
Yes, It was Mabarebare when it was first presented.
Yes, I'm
That's
not
correct.
asking about what you
Oh,
then
thank you.
established
Thank you, Commissioner.
afterwards.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Ke batla ho tseba gore ke Mabarebare na. Fair. Ne?
Thank you, thank you.
Ke ona?
Ke yona.
Thank you.
Hey, yo go buile monate ka boka gopola ditlepetle tsa ka, man.
Thanks. I don't want you to misunderstand me.
That's correct.
Hearsay evidence is admissible in this commission. The only issue would be its probative value. That is what weight we attach to it. So it's still admissible. Yeah.
Thank you.
But my next question then is, what detail, if any, did your source give you on how the source knew that General Mkhwanazi and King Misizulu had been recruited by the CIA?
Commissioner, may Commissioner rephrase the question? I don't.
What detail did your source give you on how they, that is your source, knew that General Mkhwanazi and King Misizulu had been recruited by the CIA? Did your source just say, do you know, General Mkhwanazi and King Misizulu were recruited by the CIA without more?
Yeah, it is without more. You just say, you know, King Misizulu he's been staying somewhere in the US. You check, and then you see how General Mkhwanazi speaks. He always tells you he was trained by the American, and what. That's where everything started, commissioners. And indeed, even in front of here and in that talk, he spoke about being trained by the American.
I'll tell you that I actually hold a degree from the United States of America. Does that make me a CIA operative? I'm scared I asked that question because you just might say yes.
No.
But can you please respond?
Yeah, no, I cannot say that, commissioners. Investigation as it comes. Someone may say that, not to me, to another agent, to whoever, may say Commissioner Matlanga is a CIA. He may say that, not to me. Yes.
Thank you.
But just picking up on the chair's question, apart from the fact that General Mkhwanazi says that he received some training in the United States, did your source give you any information to support his allegation that General Mkhwanazi and King Misizulu are CIA agents?
Yeah. You see, when information came, commissioners, it further talks to the treatment which the combination of General Mkhwanazi and Misizulu, King Misizulu, how they treated the brother to King Misizulu, Prince Makati. The investigation took us to that extent that we ended up having to meet them.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, even though the question is not mine. I do not understand the question to be about what you established later.
Oh, okay.
It's about the stage at which you get the information.
No, there was nothing on top of it. Thank you. Understand.
I think maybe then go to paragraph 22, where I think you were heading anyway.
Yeah. Oh, this is where the source further indicated that in execution of his mandate from CIA, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi on numerous occasions sent members of the political killing task team to intimidate, harass, attempt to murder members of the royal house associated to Prince Makati. Now, a number of cases were opened with SAPS in KwaZulu-Natal related to this conduct. And these cases were, however, not investigated or acted upon by SAPS due to intervention of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi being the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal.
So, can you explain what evidence, if any, you received to substantiate the statement that this was in execution of a mandate from the CIA?
It is because we ended up, like I'm mentioning, Prince Makade commissioners. Part of my network, we ended up having to meet with them. Actually, they even came to Gauteng. We hosted them in Midrand, helped them to open a case as they were alluding. But that time, Prince Makade sent the 8 and Prince Zulu. We came to Midrand. And after opening the case, due to jurisdictional purpose, the matter was then transferred back to Nangoma police station. We also have the case number mentioned here, commissioners.
You mention in paragraph 22 that cases relating to alleged intimidation, harassment, and attempted murder of members of the royal household associated with Prince Mkhwanazi were never investigated or acted upon by the SAPS. Do you have any details of these cases that we could investigate further? Are they?
That was said during when we opened the case, when we said, okay, come, let's open it and let's see what will happen. This is what came from the investigation, Commissioner.
But do you have any
No, except for the case that
details
we
of these
opened.
cases?
Except for the case we opened, this is the only case that we have.
And this case that was opened first in Midrand and then transferred to Nongoma, do you have any details of what has happened in that case?
The case could not be furthered, could not even be investigated further.
You say it could not be investigated, or
When you ask the complainant, they'll say there's nothing happening on the matter.
Then in paragraph 25, you
Sorry, Mr. Chairperson, maybe let me just clarify something still in paragraph 22. Mr. Mogotsi, maybe before I ask my question, let me go back to 21, just to complete so that 22 makes sense. In 21, right at the end, after you say that General Mkhwanazi was trained in the United States, you say, and I read, they being King Misizulu and General Mkhwanazi, you say they were activated in that capacity to protect Western interests. I further obtained information from the source that Lieutenant Mkhwanazi was tasked to neutralize any opposition to King Misizulu. Prince Simakare is currently involved in litigation. And then in paragraph 22, and my question is, you say a number of criminal cases were opened with the SAPS in KwaZulu-Natal related to this conduct. And this is after the sentence where you say members of the political killings task team were sent to intimidate. These cases that you refer to, were they cases against members of the PKTT?
That's correct. And thank you, Commissioner. In fact, when SC was crossing to paragraph 25, I was going to ask Commission that I should emphasize that the reason the case was open in Gauteng was simply because it's not written elsewhere, but it's a practice that has been developed. That if cases were opened against political killing task team members, not only in KZN, all over, and they would not be investigated. That's the thing I wanted to say.
Yes, my question is more specific. It is, you say there were a number of cases opened. And my question is, are those number of cases against members of the PKTT, accusing them of intimidation, harassment, and attempted murder? You're saying there are such cases that were opened?
Yes, that's what I said. There were such cases according to the investigation. But the one that we opened in Midrand, it was against Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, the case that was opened by Prince Makati.
And the ones opened against PKTT members, there are names to them. There are individuals, members who are named in those cases.
That perhaps the Commission, one will have to find out and try to get more information. But as I'm saying, on the arrival, as we spoke, they did say, we tried to open these cases so many times against the PKTT, against General Mkhwanazi. Nothing has ever happened.
Yes. So that's what you were told?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I see.
The one that was registered, it was against Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you, Commissioner. And this case was it was registered at a regular SAPS station, not with an IPID?
A police station.
Can you then proceed to paragraph 25, where you talk about the Western interests that were allegedly being protected here?
Yes, that's the part I say there is a mine, a coal mine sources, and the export routes thereof in South Africa. So it further says there was an apprehension that South African government may hold the output of coal via the Richards Bay port terminal. And the off-take portion of this coal route was owned by Israeli interest. It is for this reason that Richards Bay area became priority region and focus point for Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
Can I ask you just to expand on this? Because there are a couple of issues I need clarity on. The first is where the concern arose about the halting of output of coal from Richards Bay.
You see, like I said, when the information came, Commissioners, there was a feeling of the Western, of the Israelis, that because South Africa took Israel to International Criminal Court, that feeling amongst them was that even that trade route could be halted. And that's why they had now to activate their sources, being the King and Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. And I can also confirm that during that time, Prince Smagate was in a business engagement, with the Chinese, because I believe there was kind of agreement which was planned to be entered into, but it was opposed and it never materialized.
And you speak about the offtake portion of the coal route being owned by Israeli interests. So are you talking about, well, what share of the output that goes through Richards Bay are you talking about?
Yeah, well, the information one could not verify. Remember, the business interest was something which we never dwelt much into. The issue here was that the prince had a problem, and he knew that there is a coal going out from there, and it falls under his jurisdiction. They were part of it. I never got much information related to the shareholdings and so forth.
And did you investigate whether coal output from Richards Bay was increasing or decreasing over the period 2023 through 2024 and on to 2025?
We never got to that stage to investigate that part.
Of what relevance, if any, is your evidence about the intended transaction between Prince Magade and China? Is that of any relevance to your testimony today?
I don't understand the question, Commissioner.
You mentioned in the context of the Richards Bay Port Terminal, you mentioned Prince Magade and China, and you said something like there was an intended transaction which, as I understood you, fell through. So my question is that testimony of any relevance? I'm not suggesting that it is not, but is it of any relevance to...
Yes, I would say, Commissioner, if the Chinese were brought into the picture, it directly impacted on the interest of the Israelis. I think that's the relevance.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mogotsi, do you know who owns the Richards Bay coal terminal?
No, I'm not aware. I don't know. Not know, Commissioner.
Can I then